What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for today's review. We're going to check out the DarwinFpv Cineape20. It's kind of a $133 alternative to something like the Eagle 2, but it has prop guards, and you have the option to have GPS on here, which mine has. We're going to test that in this review, which is super cool. If you're watching this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I'm giving away a free 5-inch worth about $500 on the channel. This is the Catalyst Machine Works America drone. It runs on 6S and full carbon fiber. It's signed on the bottom, and all you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know where you're from in the comments down below, and do not respond to anybody that tries to say you won, because I'm paying for the shipping. It's 100% free, so don't get scammed. But if you've never heard of DarwinFpv, what's this company all about? If you're brand new getting into FPV, you've been around for a while, I'm going to explain it to you like this, okay? It's kind of like that friend you had in way back in 7th grade. You know, you met him. He had like a mullet, and he was kind of rednecky, but he was fun to hang out with, right? And you know, you were kind of embarrassed to hang out with him a little bit, but he knew all the coolest spots around the neighborhood, like where the rope swings were. He had a motorcycle, and y'all used to ride his motorcycle all over the place and you know, hang out. You ended up kissing his 9th grade sister or something like that. He had a hot rednecky sister, and y'all was smoking cigarettes back at the fort and doing all that kind of stuff. So kind of like that, you know, y'all weren't friends 2 or 3 years later in high school, and just kind of parted past, but you always remember that fun that you used to have with old Robert back there in those days. So this is kind of like that. Everybody's got that old fun rednecky friend, you know, when y'all grew up and stuff. He was like, man, you've changed, man, you've changed. And you did change. You forgot about cheap fun. And you don't have to have a lot of money to have fun. So that's what the Cineape is. It's just a 3S 2-inch Cinewhoop that is, you know, it may be the redneck of drones out there. So, but sometimes a little bit of redneck fun is good fun. So let's go out and have some redneck fun together at the park, and I'll show you what it flies like. We'll also test out the GPS return to home on this thing. It's pretty crazy that a 2-inch has GPS. Yeah. So let's get out there and let's do redneck stuff today. Here we go. All right, my guys, we're back out in the field now, and back out in the field, same field that we had the Eagle 2, and now we're gonna fly the Cineape20. This is my first flight with it. This is my maiden flight, so let's just go right for that same tree that we did with the Eagle 2, the same type of loop. Gonna go up and over and under, throw some spins into it. I feel like I got more rotations this time with this one. Little backflip in there. Let's see how it tracks around the field. Again, hell yeah, man. You're having some redneck fun right now out with your buddy back in 7th grade, hauling ass down that trail on your motorcycle. You just balls out down the trail, trying to figure out what to do next. Maybe a little flip and roll over that tree. Christmas tree almost touched the ground right there. Nice. Just made it through. And that's the beauty of analog, folks. We can do things we wouldn't normally do with our DJI 04, especially something like, ouch, that. If you'd have done that with the 04, you'd probably have a broken glass on the front. So no damage to the Cineape20 whatsoever. TPU top plate protected my camera. And I'm back out again. It's like we crashed with our redneck buddy on the motorcycle. Got a huge knot on my leg, but you know, we're bombing hills again. And we're back on the bike. So let's get it. Now back down this trail right here. I just kind of want to see how it tracks around the field a little bit. See if I can come back around by the bench and pass through the trees. So it tracks good, and again, it's only a 2-inch little quad, so you know, with analog it's harder to spot that gap, that opening, so I wasn't able to quite get the same like we did with the Eagle 2, but back around here, maybe loop that tree low to the ground, didn't work out. Now I'm back out in the field, and I'm gonna calm down in a second with it and just flat slow for you guys, because not everybody's flying like they stole it, but that tends to be how I fly on my channel, so you're gonna expect to see some pretty wild stuff. Now I am getting a little bit of breakup. As you can see, my core temperature right now is like 78 degrees Celsius, so it's pretty stinking hot outside. It's in the 90s, and this thing runs up to 600 milliwatts. It's pretty strong VTX. There we are, making a little gap there, a little mini dive back down to the grass, backflip over rotation right there. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of looser rate on the Cineape20. This is not quite as flowy for me. It seemed like the Eagle 2 was a little more beginner type of tune on there, but this one's basically for dudes who have been flying and maybe more in the intermediate. Now, I'm on return to home right now. Now, I'm going to talk to you about this. If you're a beginner and you want something to start out with, this will be a great beater. This will be that first motorcycle that you got, that little Honda 80, that lasts you a long time. You'll probably have this for a while just because the parts are so cheap, and you could rebuild it 5 years from now and still fly. But return to home works, which is great. Field tested right there. Now, back in the day, Betaflight would drop you to the ground if you weren't 300 feet or more away, which, you know, now it works close to home, which is cool. So if you're out over the marsh or something like that, you lose signal, it's just going to return to home. So we're going to do a little exploring now. And like I said, chill flying. We're going to try to go a little slower. I'm gonna try to fly it right now like just the average guy would, so you can see some balls to the wall footage, and then just some chill flying, like most people are gonna do. And you guys aren't trying to break stuff like me. And I'm getting kind of low on this battery, and I think the longest flight time that I got for this quad was probably 3.5 minutes. On the largest battery that I had on it, though, was only a 550. No, 650 milliamp was the biggest battery. So if you want to get like 4 to 5 minutes, you could probably strap an 850 to it. But you're going to need a little longer strap. The strap that comes with it is basically like a Velcro strap from like Walgreens or something. I mean, it's like it's cheap little Velcro strap. But then again, it's DarwinFpv. It's just cheap fun. This is the Swisher Sweets of FPV. You know what I mean? It's that cherry tobacco that your grandfather used to smoke. But again, I mean, for $130 right now, like, yeah, I forget that it's HD because I've been flying so long. I just enjoy flying FPV, and it is fun. But look at that, when we were up top, 16 satellites on this quad, and it's crazy when you get a satellite lock on this GPS. It goes from like 0 to 10, and all of a sudden you're ready to take off. But it's cool to have GPS return on there. Now we got 17. That's pretty awesome. And you wouldn't want GPS to activate underneath the trees, because honestly, it'd go straight up into the trees. So just be careful about that if you're flying at range. There's that gap we made the other day with the Eagle 2, and I'm able to make it now that I slowed down a little bit. Just having a little bit of kind of regular guy flying fun here. And now that I kind of slowed down and chilled out a little bit, can really like see my lines a lot better instead of going wild. But yeah, she tracks good, and if you want to slow it down, you can. That's a good thing. It's not a crazy expert style quad. It's kind of everyday guy's quad, like I call them. Not bad. Throw a little roll in there. So I'm happy with it. I always say on the channel, it is what it is. I mean, as far as the fun factor, again, probably like, I'd say my flight test was like 4 out of 5 as far as fun factor goes. I've had more fun, but then again, not for I guess $130, so and I didn't break anything, which is freaking amazing. Try to land on my hand here. Nope. All right, my redneck friend, welcome back from the flight test. The analog version is $133. The 04 version that you have to add your own 04 to is around $105, and so is the 03 version, about $105. Cineape20 on the scale is 76.2 grams, and with the 3S 550 pack on there, that's going to get us up to around 118.9 grams total takeoff weight. The Eagle 2 with the DJI 04 on there is 74.4 grams, which is kind of amazing. With the 3S 380 milliamp battery that everyone flies on here, it gets it up to a total takeoff weight of 105.2 grams. Still pretty damn amazing. The Cineape20 is a 90 millimeter Cinewhoop. So the Cineape also has prop guards, injection molded prop guards all the way around the edge to protect the props. And it does have a guard all the way around the AIO flight controller inside here, which is kind of cool. cool. It is running an F411 flight controller with 15 amp ESCs, and it has the Betaflight connector in the very back, and it is a sort of an Android style connector right here, USB regular. And on top you do have a lot more bracing in here than the Eagle frame. I talked about this frame, sort of the composite carbon, and this has no bracing, so it's going to definitely break a lot easier than this one will. So it's going to give you a little more durability, some prop guard protection, and it also has a carbon bottom plate on the very bottom. Now on the very top, you can see this wire going in right there, and that is plugging into the GPS right here. The GPS is sitting on the very top, and it is also covered up in TPU. It has its own little staging in here, and just below that is the 600 milliwatt VTX. You have a little UFL connector coming off the back here to the dipole on the top, and running 600 milliwatt on the field today did pretty good with my Sky Zone goggles. Now, like I said before, it does have 1103 motors on here. These are 8,000 kV, and there are 4 screws holding these on through the carbon frame with that 2-inch prop on the very bottom, tri-blade push-on prop. So if you do get this one, make sure you buy some extra props because you probably have some of these come off in the field in a crash. So also included in the box, you do get a QR code for customer support, some extra zip ties, some extra poles for antennas coming off the back should you use a different kind, some caps for those poles, as well as a ton of extra hardware, which is nice, and you get some cool stickers. Now, one of the cool things about this quad is it does have a quick replaceable harness camera cable in here. So this is the Cadex Ant camera, and it does just plug in and unplug if you break this camera. The same for the VTX around the back. This is plugged straight into the flight controller with a harness, so if either one of them break, you can replace it yourself. And luckily for me today, I crashed it super hard. I crashed it straight into the park bench, full speed, coming by myself, bam, hit the park bench. And I was thinking I was gonna have at least a prop come off here or the prop guards be broken or something like that. Camera, but everything on here seemed to be pretty durable. Extra reinforcement on the carbon frame here. All of this on the very top, protecting the whole top plate here, is all TPU. So this is all squishy, super durable TPU, protecting the camera from the side there. It doesn't stick out the front, which is great. You know, compared to its rich cousin, the Eagle 2, it's fully out there, exposed. So for a little more experienced flyers, but this one really is geared up to be kind of a bomber tough little acro trainer of sorts. And you know, just to give you some sort of idea of the difference between the Eagle 2 and something like the the redneck cousin, the Cineape20, the big differences between the two is that while they both have great tunes on here, this one definitely has higher rates. So you're gonna flip and roll faster. I found myself kind of over rotating a little bit, going past my return angle when I was flying acro and doing flips and rolls with it. I kind of found myself, when I do a backflip with it, I'd come around a little bit too high on the return. So not back to level. I'd just be pointing up in the sky a little bit and then come back down. So I do know right away that even though the tune is great, there's not any vibrations in the tune or anything like that. It's just more of a looser freestyle feeling tune on this one versus the Eagle 2. So when we were flying this, and they both fly a 3S battery. You can fly up to something like a 720 milliamp on this, but these just fly completely different. This one has more of a flowy feel to it, and probably more flowy and less rates. So it's almost like it's in between like cinema rates and like hardcore freestyle rates. So that's where the Eagle 2 is. It's somewhere a little looser than cinema would be, but it's still super fun and flowy and predictable. Whereas this one, you could reduce the rates, soften them up a little bit to make some of your freestyle a little more flowy if you're a beginner. So if you would like us to do that, just let us know down in the comments, and I'll try to put a softer tune on this one for you guys. And you guys can put the numbers into the PIDs and the rates, and we can change up a little bit of things on here for you guys, for the community, if you want to. So that's the biggest differences between these two. Biggest differences, aside from flying, is the cost. Obviously, this one's about $300 cheaper than the Eagle 2. And I would say it's about 50% more durable than the Eagle 2. So if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of money and you're not going to buy, a $500 pair of goggles that's literally out of stock everywhere, then start flying analog. Get yourself a decent pair of FPV goggles, binocular style goggles. and you can have a lot of fun with the analog. Because I had just as much fun today as the flight test the other day, and I was kind of laughing when I was flying this one because I couldn't believe that the amount of abuse that this one took, and it still looks brand new. I mean, it doesn't have a scratch on it, and I did crash it a few times. I even had a prop fly off. I got lucky and found the prop in the grass. They're smoke colored props as well, so they're really hard to find. But I think it's a pretty good value considering how much stuff costs right now, and the fun factor. So I'd say the fun factor is about 4 out of 5. The Eagle 2 obviously was a lot more money. It was like 20 out of 20. It was crazy fun, the quad of the year. But that's the difference between spending a little bit of money to have some fun and spending a whole lot of money. So I'll let you decide, depending on how much money, extra money you have laying around, because FPV is a hobby. This is like the extra money that you have laying around to go out and fly an FPV drone. So if you're on a budget, grab the Cineape20, and I think you'll have a good old time with it. So stay tuned for a possible tune coming up, a little softer tune on this one for more cinema freestyle flow. And I will put the link down below for this one, as well as the link for the 03 and 04 version for you guys, and my recommended battery. And my recommended battery is going to be, to start for freestyle, would be the 3S 550 milliamp, and then the long flight battery would probably be the 3S 720, if I can find some of those. You could probably even, with a little bit bigger strap, I think you could fly a 3S 850 if you can find any of those. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely like that friend you had in 7th grade. You guys had a lot of fun, and you have memories, some memories you try not to remember. So yeah, I will see you guys on the next one, and I appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for that Catalyst Machine Works America. July 24th is coming up fast. We're almost halfway through summer. It's crazy. Take care, my guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.